Namaste children, welcome you in the SSC class. Today we are going to read chapter 13, Delhi Sultanate. Children, have a look on the map of Delhi Sultanate in the 13th century. Let's go through the depth of the map. Don't forget the name of Ghor and Ghazni, from which Muhammad Ghori and Mahmud Ghazni is related. Look at the map here, in which this is Ghor and this is Ghazni. Mahmud Ghazni of Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori of Ghor. Both were from Afghanistan. And here in our book, have a look on Delhi first. At that time, then comes Panipat, Hisar, Punjab. Now come to Jaunpur, Agra, and have a look on Devgiri here. So this is the boundary in the northern area, as we are able to see the boundary in the red color here. So this is up to Kashmir, touching Kashmir here, and here Sindh also. Please have a look on the map. Here we are able to see Multan. So these are the places of Delhi Sultanate in the 13th century. So now the class starts with the story of Mahmud Ghori. Mahmud Ghori and Muhammad Ghori and Mahmud Ghazni, about whom we have already learned in our previous chapter. Children, Prithviraj Chauhan, who was the famous Rajput ruler at that time, challenged Muhammad Ghori to war. In the first battle of Taran, Muhammad Ghori was defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan, but somehow he escaped from there. So it was 1191 CE, in the first battle of Taran, Muhammad Ghori was defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan and was escaped from there. But in 1192 CE, the situation was opposite. In the second battle of Taran, in 1192 CE, it was Ghori who defeated Prithviraj along with many other Rajput rulers. So from here only the story starts, because after that Ghori appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his deputy in India. Let me explain about Qutbuddin Aibak, who was a trusted slave of Muhammad Ghori. Children, Muhammad Ghori returned to Ghor with a large booty, and he appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his deputy in India. Now the main story of Delhi Sultanate starts with these main dynasties. So first of all, the dynasty who came on throne was the slave or Mamluk dynasty, which ruled up to 1206 to 1290 CE. Then comes the Khaljis, 1290 to 1320 CE. Then again comes the Tughlaq dynasty, 1320 up to 1412 CE. Then Sayyid dynasty, 1451 CE. Then the last one, the Lodi dynasty, 1451 to 1526 CE. So it was the period of 1206 to 1526. So in this time span, India faced many Muslim rulers with their different kind of policies. But the first dynasty about which we are going to learn is the slave or the Mamluk dynasty. Children, in this dynasty, we will learn about the following sultans. The first or founder was Qutbuddin Aibak. The second, Iltutmish. The third was a lady, first and last lady sultan, Razia, Behram Shah, then Alauddin Masood Shah, then Nasruddin Mahmud, then Ghiyasuddin Balban. So these are the famous sultans of slave or Mamluk dynasty. First of all, we will learn about Qutbuddin Aibak. Have a look on this. This is Qutub Minar, situated in Delhi. Children, Qutbuddin Aibak was the founder of slave dynasty, and actually in the slave dynasty most of the rulers are either slaves or their children. Aibak was a great patron of literature, art and architecture. He built Qutub Minar and Kuwait-ul-Islam Mosque in Delhi. Children, mosques are of great value at that time. So this Qutbuddin Aibak also built a mosque known as Dhai Din Ka Jhopda in Ajmer. So two mosques are given here. One is Kuwait-ul-Islam Mosque. It is situated in Delhi. And the next one is Dhai Din Ka Jhopda. It is very famous and is situated in Ajmer. Now he had literary gems also like Hasan Azmi and Mubarak Shah in his court. He died in 1210 CE. Qutbuddin Aibak was succeeded by his son Aram Shah. But this Aram Shah was not accepted by the nobles. And therefore Iltutmish was the son-in-law of Qutbuddin Aibak. He was also the Subedar of Badayu, a place. And he defeated Aram Shah and became the Sultan. So in this way, Iltutmish, who started his rule up to 1210 to 36 CE with a long time span. Iltutmish made his capital Delhi, and Iltutmish was an able and shrewd military administrator. He diplomatically saved himself and Delhi from the wrath of Mongol conqueror Genghis Khan by not giving shelter to Shah of Khwarizm, who was being chased by Genghis Khan on the pretext that Delhi's climate would not suit him. Iltutmish was a very famous ruler at that time. He made many administrative reforms also to strengthen his hold on Delhi Sultanate. He organized the group of 40 Turkish nobles, and that group was known as Chaliha. He divided his empire into many iqtas for administrative efficiency. Children, Iltutmish also introduced silver coins. Those coins were known as tanka, and he also introduced copper coins. Those were known as jital. Have a look on coins of Delhi Sultanate. So these coins are made up of silver as well as copper. So these silver coins were known as tanka and the copper coins were known as jital. Iltutmish was a patron of art and literature also. Minaz-uz-Shiraj and was the famous writer of his court. He wrote the account of Iltutmish region. Literary persons like Ruhani and Usmani also graced his court. Iltutmish was a staunch Sunni Muslim, and that's why he treated the Shias and the Hindus badly. Children, as you know that the Islam was divided into two sects. At that time, those sects were Sunnis and the Shias. So Iltutmish was a staunch Sunni Muslim, and he treated the Shias and the Hindus very badly. So then the Iltutmish had no faith in the capacity of his sons to rule. So the great surprising fact is he nominated his daughter named Razia Sultan, Razia as his successor. She was an able and strong administrator. Do you know? Razia was the first and the last Muslim lady ruler during the medieval period. Let's know about Razia Sultan, who ruled up to 1236 to 40 CE only. After the death of Iltutmish, the nobles declared the eldest son, Ruknuddin Firoz, the Sultan. Means the name of the eldest son of Iltutmish was Ruknuddin Firoz, who was declared Sultan by the nobles but was murdered only after 7 months, and Razia became the Sultan. So have a look on Razia Sultan. Razia crushed the opponents. She gave higher position to non-Turk nobles. She was an able military general and was considered an exceptionally capable ruler. She used to dress up like a man while going on military expeditions. Razia could rule for a short period of 3.5 years only, and she was killed in a battle in 1240. So this is the story of Razia, and after Razia means after 1240, the Sultanate goes in the hand of Behram Shah, and he was made Sultan by the nobles, but was killed in 1242 CE. After that, Alauddin Masood Shah ruled from 1242 to 1246. So it has been written here, this is 46. Now the next ruler, Nasruddin Mahmud, 1246 to 66 CE. The youngest son of Iltutmish, named Nasruddin Mahmud. Means after the sister, Razia was his sister. In year 1246, the youngest son of Iltutmish, Nasruddin Mahmud, became the Sultan and ruled for 20 years. Now come a new name. The name is Ghiyasuddin Balban, who was the Prime Minister of Nasruddin Mahmud, an actual ruler, as well as he was the actual ruler also. So after the death of Nasruddin Mahmud in 1266 CE, Balban became the Sultan, as Nasruddin Mahmud did not have any son. So now comes Ghiyasuddin Balban, who ruled up to 1266 to 86 CE. Balban was a strong and capable ruler. He suppressed all the oppositions and created an atmosphere of obedience and patriotism also towards the sultanates. Let's know about the speciality of Balban's rule. First of all, Balban centered the power of the group of 20 Turkish nobles, means Chalihas, to consolidate his position. He was a sultan who believed in complete justice. He did not spare any wrongdoer, whether a common man or a noble. His darbar was very disciplined, and you are surprised to know that nobody could talk or laugh even without his permission, or else fell punishment. He enhanced the prestige and power of Sultan. He safeguarded his frontiers by constructing many forts and posting the best guards there. So this is the facts about Ghiyasuddin Balban, who was a very disciplined Sultan of Slavs dynasty. And Balban died in 1286. So that after the death of Balban, a situation of confusion prevailed for some time. In 1290 CE, Jalaluddin overthrew the weak and incapable successors of Balban and captured the throne. So the name is changed, the ruler is changed. So let's know about this Jalaluddin Khalji. Have a look on the picture of Alauddin Khalji. But first of all, we will learn about the founder of the Khalji dynasty. The Khalji dynasty up to 1290 CE to 1320 CE. This is Jalaluddin Khalji, 1290 to 96 CE. So very strong man. Actually he captured the throne at the age of 70 by murdering the last two successors of Balban. He founded the Khalji dynasty in 1290 and was assisted by his nephew named Alauddin in his military expeditions. Alauddin treacherously murdered his uncle, who was coming back after defeating the ruler of Devgiri. Devgiri we have seen in the map, and here we will know about the facts of Devgiri also in the next dynasty. Thus he captured the throne in 1296 CE. In 1296 CE, the new Sultan was Alauddin Khalji, who murdered treacherously his uncle Jalaluddin Khalji. So he was the brave general and skilled administrator, and like Alexander, he was very ambitious who wanted to conquer the whole world. He captured Gujarat, Ranthambore, Chittor, Malwa, Marwar, etc. in the north, and Devgiri, Warangal, Madurai, and a number of states in the south also. So Alauddin Khalji, to safeguard his sultanate from the invasions, he had a well-trained and well-equipped army. He kept full record of his soldiers. Alauddin Khalji kept the full record of his soldiers, means Hulia and Dak. Why he did so? Because to avoid any substitution, and the soldiers were paid in cash and were given many other facilities also. Children, Alauddin was against to amass money, and that's why he did not allow the nobles or the people to amass money, and he taxed them heavily. He banned the sale and consumption of wine also. This was very good thing, and he organized an effective and efficient system to control revolts against him. He was the first Muslim ruler who did not tolerate the interference of religious leaders like ulemas and mullahs in his administration. And one more special thing that has been remembered about this Sultan is about the reforms he had done in the economy. So he was well known, or he was very famous for his economic reforms. Let's know what are the reforms. First, he fixed the maximum retail price of the goods of daily use. Second, he introduced grain storage and rationing system also. Third, there are different places, marketplaces for different commodities. Fourth, severe punishments were given to those who weighed less or cheated the buyer in any way. Then one more, market controllers were also appointed for the strict supervision over the traders. He also reformed the revenue system. Here, actually, Alauddin was against to amass money, and that's why he taxed heavily. And in the tax system, the share of the state was fixed up to 50% of the total produce. That is why Alauddin did not allow the nobles or the peoples to amass money at that time. So the state share was fixed up to 50% of the total produce at that time. The life of Hindus was miserable because they had to pay more taxes than the Muslims. So about this Alauddin Khalji, two facts are also given in your Do You Know. Let's know about them. When Alauddin came to know about the super beauty of Queen Padmini of Chittor, he wanted to marry her. So he attacked Chittor. He defeated the Rajputs, and the Queen Padmini and other ladies committed Jauhar at that time. The story of Queen Padmini and the king of Rana Ratan Singh of Mewar was vividly described by Malik Muhammad Jaisi in his epic Padmavat. So Padmavat is very well known epic because of the story of Queen Padmini who committed Jauhar and with many ladies. When she came to know that his husband King Rana Ratan Singh was defeated by Alauddin Khalji, she committed Jauhar with many other ladies also. So these are the facts of Alauddin Khalji. Then what happened after Alauddin Khalji? After the death of Alauddin, his successors survived only up to 1320. Alauddin Khalji died in 1316 and his successors were able to rule up to 1320 CE only. And the last ruler of Khalji dynasty was Khusro. Khusro was defeated by Ghazi Malik. Now again a new name, the name of Ghazi Malik, who took over the name of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq and became the Sultan. Now from here only, with the name of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the Tughlaq dynasty starts. So that let's have a look on Alauddin's area or empire in India. Have a look. Mostly all of India. Have a look on the northern part, in the southern part except Madurai. Then here in the eastern and western part, almost the whole India we can say was captured by Alauddin Khalji. But after the death of Alauddin, it was only up to very few years because the Tughlaq dynasty starts from 1320 by the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. So in our next class, we will learn about Tughlaq dynasty onwards. Thank you.